Hello, I am C-3PO, and I would like to wish a very happy May the 4th. What do you mean? Well, they asked to talk to me. They obviously wanted someone of grandeur on the show. Oh, if you insist. R2 and I would both like to wish all the Skywalking through Neverland listeners a very happy May the 4th. What about a Revenge of the 5th? R2, there's nothing happy about revenge. I have no idea what you're going on about. Come along. It's the last time I use one of your ideas. Listening to you is quite beyond my capacity.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Ladies, listen!
A billion years in the making.
Off to Neverland!
What do you know?
You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll kiss $3 goodbye.
Hi, this is Vanessa Marshall, wishing all you Skywalkers a happy May the 4th be with you.
Hi, this is Steve Sansweet of Rancho Obi-Wan, and I'd like to wish Skywalking Through Neverland and all the Skywalkers out there a happy May the 4th and a merry Revenge of the 5th. And don't forget, come and visit us at www.ranchoobiwan.org.
I like the sound of that.
Happy May the 4th, Skywalkers!
Woohoo!
And thank you for joining us on our big May the 4th Revenge of the 5th episode of Skywalking Through Neverland. I am Richard, and I am joined by my sweetie, beautiful wife, Sarah.
Aw, thank you. And I'm also known as Jedi Tink. And actually, we are fortunate again to have our good friend and fellow podcaster, Robert Bapst of the Bald Solo podcast with us today. Hello, Robert.
Hey, Robert.
Hello. Hey, Skywalkers. How's it going, guys?
It is awesome because it's May the 4th.
Woohoo!
Oh, man. It is my favorite day of the year.
Yes.
We finally get our recognition. We finally get our holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now, I know for me, I'm wearing my Ewoks t-shirt.
And I'm wearing my Droids t-shirt.
Yay!
And
Robert?
I have my Where's the Party at t-shirt.
Awesome. I think we're ready
it's
to
a
podcast.
Conversation starter.
I bet. Well, in today's show, not only will we be joined by Bald Solo, but he will join us as we discuss the recent Episode 7 casting announcement.
Also in that discussion is Scott Murray from Assembly of Geeks podcast and our most faithful listener turned admin, Donald Wicks.
He's the admin of our Facebook page.
We also talked to Chris Alexander, author of Star Wars Origami, Michael Kogge, author of many Star Wars Insider and Star Wars Gamer articles, and from fangirlblog.com and Fangirls Going Rogue, Tricia Barr. And we'll be talking about their first impressions of things only briefed about in the movies.
In the first movies.
In the first trilogy, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll be talking about things like the Clone Wars, how the duel between Ben Kenobi and Darth Vader played out at the edge of the volcano, and what about Luke and Leia's mother?
Mm-hmm.
So things that were only kind of briefly mentioned in the first set of movies.
In the 70s and 80s.
And how we thought that through, because we didn't have things like expanded universe or prequels to help fill in the gaps.
And as Tricia Barr said after the discussion, she said it was like going back to being a child again.
Yeah, this is a discussion that Chris Alexander and I had started back in 1984.
Wow.
When we were both dressing up as Jedi Luke to go to conventions.
Oh.
Before the word cosplay meant anything. And before there were cons, they were conventions.
So we have so much for today's episode, including the reveal of our May the 4th Be With You contest winner. But that's a little later.
Now, let's blast into today's show. So, Bald Solo, what would Han Solo say to get things going?
Traveling through hyperspace ain't like dusting crops, boy.
Very well said. You've just earned the name Bald Solo.
There you go. It's one of my favorite lines. It really is.
I I'm Jamie, broadcasting live from Mos Eisley Cantina. May the 4th be with you.
Hi everybody, this is Joey Pittman, and I've been skywalking through Neverland since it all began. You may even heard me on the show a few times. Just wanted to wish you fellow skywalkers a happy May the 4th, and get ready for all the great times that are ahead.
Aside from the obvious, do we know how the May the 4th became a thing?
That is a really good question.
I have never known. It just kind of, I heard fellow, fans talk about it, and that's how it was a word of mouth thing. So I always really loved that about May the 4th, that it was kind of this campfire type thing.
I'm surprised that no one really put this together before a couple of years ago when it became a big quote unquote Star Wars holiday.
Right.
Why didn't we ever think this through?
Yeah, I think it seeped into our pop culture consciousness about, 3-4 years ago?
3 or 4 years ago, that's it.
Yeah.
Out of 37 years, that's not good odds.
Mm-mm.
Now, Steve Sansweet wrote a blog for D23.com to explain this newfound holiday.
Oh, interesting. What did he say?
He said, "We fans know that Star Wars isn't just any movie, but one that truly justifies that overused word, phenomenon. And if Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher's Conservative Party wanted to hype her victory on May the 4th, 1979, with a newspaper ad that blared, 'May the 4th be with you, Maggie, and congratulations.'"
Did they really do that? There was a newspaper article entitled that?
Yeah. Congratulating Margaret Thatcher back on May the 4th, 1979.
Wow.
So why did it take us this long to catch on?
Yeah.
I don't know why. Whenever I hear the name Margaret Thatcher, I can't help but think of Austin Powers. Like, Margaret Thatcher naked, Margaret Thatcher naked. When he's trying to...
Right.
When he's trying not to be taken over by the fembots. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. That's my association. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Okay.
I think that's your association and yours alone.
Yes, it is.
Now, Steve goes on to say, when someone first mentioned a Star Wars holiday, I thought they were referring to May 25th, 1977, the day the movie opened on 32 theater screens in the U.S.
Huh.
Now, to me, that's always been Star Wars Day, May 25th, because that's the day that Star Wars opened and Return of the Jedi opened.
Definitely. Yeah.
But
what day did Empire open?
May 21st, 1980.
May 21st.
But if we have 2 Star Wars holidays, you know what? We'll have to just trudge through it.
Well, technically, we have 4, right?
Well, what are some others? What are the Star Wars holidays you're thinking of?
I'm thinking of Revenge of the 5th, which is kind of a newer one.
Yes.
Right.
And then I'm thinking of the 25th and the 21st. And Return of the Jedi. And so you can celebrate the 21st, the 25th, the 4th, and the 5th.
Okay.
And what about
all
the
in May?
19th and the 16th of May when the prequels opened?
Oh, the prequels. Yeah.
Yeah. But as
There's too many of them.
Steve also goes on and says, and what about Life Day?
Exactly.
The most
Life
sacred
Day.
of all Wookiee holidays on the planet Kashyyyk. But fans differ on that date too. I always considered Life Day an analog for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Others think
Me
it
too.
should be celebrated on November 17th, the one time they showed the holiday special in the U.S. and Canada back in 1978.
That's what I always post on Facebook, Happy Life Day. And
Right. So
I put the image of, the Christmas special.
So maybe Star Wars holidays being May 4th and May 25th, it's almost like Christmas and Hanukkah. 2 big December holidays, well, mostly in December for Hanukkah. And then we have Life Day, and that is our once again, Christmas.
Well, May the 4th now is just become this huge phenomenon, and more than any other year, there have been lots of Star Wars events that are publicized.
Yeah, now when this show airs on the dark side date of Revenge of the 5th, many of the events will have already happened, but shows like the new Lego special, Star Wars The New Yoda Chronicles, Escape from the Jedi Temple, will still air as repeats on Disney XD. Now, Robert, do you follow the Lego Star Wars shows?
I have never watched those.
Oh!
No. I've played the video games.
Of course.
Of course, I have. And I have the animated stuff has only been the Clone Wars. And before that, there was the guy that did Dexter's Lab, Gennady Tartakovsky.
Right.
He did a 2-part Clone Wars movie in the Dexter's Lab animation style.
Yeah, the Lego specials are really good. They're written by the Simpsons writers, so you know they're going to be really, really funny.
They're very irreverent.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's more of a fun kind of
It's
comical.
Yes, it's tongue-in-cheek humor, kind of making fun of the saga, would you say? Or more making fun of the fact that they're Lego characters.
You know, that's the beauty of it. It doesn't really make fun of the saga, but it's jokes that would be within the Star Wars universe. And Anthony Daniels reprises his role as C-3PO. You get a lot of the Clone Wars cast. So it's got to be on your must list. Did you catch the new awesome Rebels trailer? That is very McQuarrie-esque on StarWars.com.
Oh, with the stormtroopers marching on the ship and the TIE fighters coming at the screen. I watched it 2 or 3 times, like rapid fire. It was great.
Yeah, this it's really shot like Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
you can tell that these directors followed along with what Lucas had done in the past and replicated those same shots.
The only thing wrong with it is that it was so short.
Yeah,
it was.
Wanted more.
George Lucas is the master of the master shots.
Yeah,
that's one thing that is lost in films these days. It just looks like those Ralph McQuarrie portfolio paintings
come to life.
It was released on May the 2nd on Good Morning America.
Oh, okay.
And so that's their kickoff for May the 4th weekend.
Gotcha.
Now, do you have any Disney stores near you?
Yeah, we have a traditional indoor mall that has a Disney store.
What's it called? Lakeline?
Barton Creek.
Oh, Barton Creek Mall. I know that one.
Yeah.
You guys are talking Austin.
Texas talk.
Texas
right.
talk.
You live like 15 minutes away from my parents.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Now,
all right.
On Sunday, are you going over to the Disney store to get your free Star Wars Disney pen?
I wish, but I'm working on Sunday.
Oh.
So there would be absolutely zero way. If I worked at the Apple store at that mall, yes, but I work at the one at the Domain, so no, I can't.
Okay.
We'll see if we can get you a pen. But
that would be so great.
Some sites say to the first 100 younglings, and some say the first 100 people to show up. So if I get there and they'll go, "Oh, you're not a youngling," there's gonna be trouble. There's gonna be Cantina style trouble.
Right here in River City.
Yeah, right here in Los Angeles City.
And that starts with T and that rhymes with P and that stands for boom.
When Richard wants his swag, he gets his swag.
Yeah. I'm not above going around the counter and just getting it for myself. But
you get a little Sith in you when you're wanting swag and you don't get it.
Yep.
I've been known to force choke.
Yeah, your eyes turn yellow.
I don't know about that.
And my voice sounds like this.
Oh man, you just pull up. You should have a hoodie on. And when they say no, you just pull it over slowly. And Sarah, you just be like, Richard, stop. No.
Not again.
Not again. And then you can pretend to be force choked. Richard, why?
That could have been you. Now give me my pin.
Yes. I don't know you anymore. I can't follow you down this path.
You're breaking my heart.
You're breaking my heart.
Okay. Anyway.
Well, speaking of the younglings,
yes,
they are invited to learn the ways of the Force and participate in a Medal of Bravery ceremony.
Oh, so what does that mean? Like, does one get the Medal of Yavin? One youngling?
They didn't really describe it that much. So if any listeners out there, if you guys had gone to the Disney event and gotten some video or some pictures, please send it in to share@skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
So you think that's going to be like a Disney World, Disneyland when they do the Jedi ceremony?
It's probably going to be something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know we're going for the new merchandise.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of new merchandise they were advertised.
Action figures.
Some
movie
plushies.
stuff? Episode 7 stuff?
No. Just new Disney.
Yeah, like 12-inch.
Disney manufactured toys.
You saw how? Oh God, I got so excited.
I know.
I know. I know. I got my eye on the plush Jawa.
Oh,
I love me some Jawas.
we love all this plush stuff. I think our home is like half stuffed animals.
Anywhere you want to fall down and go to sleep, there's a plush thing.
Exactly.
Ready to cuddle.
Go for it.
Oh.
Now, more things to catch post May the 4th is this new Star Wars inspired action comedy series on YouTube by Corey Vidal. And he has just posted his latest film titled Clash at the Cantina. Have you caught this yet?
No.
It's a very funny film with support from Lucasfilm, Disney, and Tom Spina Designs.
Now this set is amazing.
Yeah, and Tom Spina, he did that Super Bowl commercial last year.
Oh.
Yeah, with
With
all
the
the
Cantina?
original Cantina aliens that he had remade.
So is that how they got the Cantina set through him?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because I thought they had taken down that set.
Well, I'm sure they put it somewhere in a warehouse where it can just be easily reassembled.
Okay.
But now if you watch it, the Cantina patrons feature Greedo, Walrus Man, and our friend Scott Allen, who was in our fan film TPZ.
Awesome. Yeah, he played the kind of George Lucas lookalike.
So you got to watch this film, TPZ, and Clash at the Cantina. So he posted that for the big May the 4th weekend. So those were some of the events and happenings set for May the 4th that are still going on past May the 4th. And we mentioned them because our show is going up on Revenge of the 5th. So it wouldn't do you any good if we told you all the things that were happening on May the 4th and were over by the time you heard this. One of the things that CBS had done was paired up with The Big Bang Theory. Now, this episode of The Big Bang Theory just aired on May the 1st. And did you get a chance to catch this at all?
Oh, am I going to get crucified for this? I don't
No.
watch Big Bang Theory.
You know
Aw.
what? That's okay.
I am not. I want to make this clear to your listeners. I am not in the camp that bashes, because I've seen some hot debate and some kind of tense conversations online where people that don't like Big Bang Theory and people that like it get into the. I am neutral. I just never followed it.
You know, we're kind of
Right.
flip-flopping back and forth now just because the show started off really strong,
Yeah.
and now it's just going to very cliched jokes.
I watch Cosmos.
Now, the Big Bang Theory had an episode geared toward Star Wars a couple of weeks ago when they had, as a special guest star, James Earl Jones and Carrie Fisher, and we were so
What?
looking forward to it, but it was such a letdown of an episode. They had all this potential, and they used like 20% of
they
it.
squandered it away.
Yeah. Yeah. and-
James Earl Jones.
yeah.
Yes.
And
I'm
Carrie
even
Fisher.
more surprised Carrie Fisher agreed to do it.
But now on this episode,
May 1st episode.
on the May 1st episode, they had the help of ILM because they had, well, I don't want to give anything away, but some effects.
And then also the gang was celebrating Star Wars Day.
Ah.
That was the premise of the episode.
Yeah. So if you're going to watch it, do this. Think about all the cliched jokes most low-level sitcoms will do. And chances are Big Bang Theory will hit every single one of them. Because
Yeah.
it was almost as if this episode was written by people who weren't really big Star Wars fans, but they knew just the surface jokes.
Yes.
Like I had a friend once who was trying to write a science fiction parody on Star Wars and Star Trek, but he had never seen any of these films. But he just thought, oh, I know Luke Skywalker and Captain Kirk, and I know that, so I'll write a parody just on that. And he got slammed for it because
I have friends
he
that
didn't know
find
the
the
genre he
show
was trying to
offensive.
parody.
Yeah. I have friends that find the show offensive. They feel that it poses as a nerd-friendly show, but it actually is offensive in that it creates caricatures of nerds that are really generalized.
You know what?
Exactly.
That just hit the nail
Yeah.
right on the theory.
That's what he says. I don't say that because I have no place to criticize the show. I don't even
No,
watch it.
that was perfect.
That's what it's turning into, which is annoying.
He just feels like what they're doing is creating these stereotypes of nerds, and it's at the end of the day, he's like, okay, yeah, there's some things in there that are true, I guess, but Are you making fun of me? So he has that question in his head when he's watching it.
Well, they almost are. Well, they are making fun of the quote unquote nerds and geeks,
right?
And
but not in a fun
not
way.
in a very
an offensive
fun way, right? Not in a very clever way.
Yeah.
But
Because it's okay to laugh at everybody. I love comedy.
Right.
Everybody.
But know the people you are making fun of, like the people who keep saying, "Oh, the Star Wars and sci-fi geeks all live in their mom's basement." Where do you see that?
I haven't lived. I got booted out when I was 18. I've never lived.
Yeah, if you're like under 18, well, of course you're gonna live at home, of course. But anyone over 18, well, they're pretty much moved out, and they're the ones who are programming computers and now running the world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what would be so bad about living in a basement either, because you'd have an entire floor of a house to yourself. The basement is just a sub-level. I mean, everybody else upstairs has to be in a room. You have an entire floor to yourself. I would be proud of that. I'd be like, the whole thing's mine. I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with living in a basement.
If you get a chance, check out this episode of The Big Bang Theory. I want to know what you think, because they really wasted
Do I need to have seen
a very
all
good
the Big
episode.
Bang Theory shows to get it, though?
No.
Okay.
Although, well, one of the things I was disappointed in was Penny in this episode, because Penny is dating Leonard, one of the nerds, and in the very beginning, her arc, she was all against, everything they liked, but now that she's dating one, she has embraced a lot of the things they like.
I wanted to see the cast integrated within a reenacted scene from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, I wanted to see Sheldon have his hand cut off like Luke Skywalker in a dream sequence, of course. So then he sees where his future is going.
Oh, yeah, so recreate iconic scenes from the movie using the cast and do it in an original, funny way. And you have Carrie Fisher and James Earl Jones, but they didn't do any of that. They did the opposite and squandered all of their resources.
But now, in this episode, they pulled Bob Newhart in to recur a role from a couple of weeks ago, and he just really fumbled his way through this character because he just Bob Newhart didn't understand what he was saying. It's kind of like Harrison Ford. You can type this stuff, you just can't say it. Well, you can tell Bob Newhart had no idea what he was talking about.
That reminds me of the SNL auditions that they did with like Walter Matthau.
Yeah.
He's Obi-Wan. Jawa? What's a Jawa? What's this movie about? It's in outer space. Oh, for Christ's sake. And he just walks off with his putter. Totally.
Now, on May the 6th, do you watch the show on ABC called The Goldbergs?
I'm so bad at TV. I don't.
You know what?
I don't think you watch much TV.
We don't watch it either, but it's one of those shows like, why aren't we watching this? Because it takes place in the 80s.
Yeah.
Well, on their Star Wars Day themed episode, they're going to have, it takes place in the 80s, so this episode takes place in 1983, where some of the main cast are in line to see Return of the Jedi.
Interesting.
Like we had said on a past show, I was so worried about this because I feared they were going to do what most shows do that are set in the 80s. They're going to use props and costumes and set dressing that you can find in 2014.
Well, especially having been a kid in the 80s.
Right.
Like if it's a certain part, like if it's 81 to 85, I really have no recollection. I was 0 to 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But 86 to 90, we're getting into the 90s, the late 80s, 90s. Yeah, I go, well, that's not really accurate.
Right.
Of course, yeah.
But judging by the commercials we had just seen, they are using actual period props and costumes.
So
Right.
Richard's excited to see this one.
Really excited because you have two kids playing with lightsabers, and they're those Kenner lightsabers that go,
The Force is my lightsaber.
when you swing them in the air, that sound nothing like lightsabers.
Ah.
And one of the kids put the Darth Vader mask on his father, and it's the kind of plastic mask with the elastic that goes around your head.
Yay.
It's not like one that was from Ruby's costume.
Right. But what we were really excited to see was our friend Obi-Shawn, we saw in the commercial sitting in line next to the main actors. So he's the one, of course, holding the Yoda puppet.
Yeah, you know what? We should have given him a Skywalking Through Neverland shirt to wear.
Darn it.
I know it would have contradicted everything I had just said,
Mm-hmm.
but hey, you know what? Free advertising is free advertising.
I'll have to PayPal you some money. I need to get one.
Oh, yes.
That may be coming very soon.
Everybody get up.
Hi ho, Kermit the Frog here. We're here in Hollywood, California, and we're sitting around the pool because we've got really nice weather. And of course, you know my good friend and traveling companion. Master Yoda, I am. Having Mai Tais, we are at a tiki party, celebrating. May the 4th be with you, and listening to Skywalking Through Neverland we are. Yeah, but what you have to watch out for is the revenge of the 5th. Very dangerous the 5th can be, especially when coming out of a bottle, it is. But in the meantime, hoping you're enjoying yourself, and as always, may the Force be with you.
We want to thank Sean Obi-Sean Crosby for that really fun Kermit and Yoda conversation.
He just came up with that on the fly.
Yeah, he's like Seth MacFarlane. He does all these voices all within the same conversation.
Yeah.
Never stops to take a breath.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So very, very well done, Sean. And Sean, happy May the 4th to you too.
And may the Force be with you.
So in this episode's Tiki Cantina, we would like to thank Disney for announcing the cast for Episode 7 on April 29th.
Thank you, Disney.
Thank you, Disney.
Yeah. Disney, of course, knew that this would make a perfect Tiki Cantina segment for our May the 4th Revenge of the 5th Skywalking Through Neverland episode.
Thank you, Disney.
Thank you, Disney.
Now, of course, we know now that along with returning saga veterans like Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, Peter Mayhew, Anthony Daniels, and Kenny Baker, we now have a brand new cast to help further the story that we never thought we'd get. So we called a few of our friends, like Robert Bapst, Scott Murray from Assembly of Geeks, and our longtime listener and admin of our Skywalking Through Neverland Facebook page, Donald Wicks.
So if you're watching the enhanced podcast or the YouTube version, here is a picture of their script read. Now, what I would give to be in that room. I wonder what they're all talking about.
Haven't you heard? I'm in Cowboys and Aliens. Daniel Craig's my film.
All I knew about films was they were full of glamour and joy and stuff. It was a night.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Things broke. It rained.
Have you listened to the Skywalking Through Neverland podcast? You have?
Do you still have that bikini?
I never had that bikini.
Who's got the bikini?
George, and he wears it all the time. And he just won't let anybody else have it.
So loyal to George, and I owe him so much. He at one time said, would you consider playing an Obi-Wan type character, handing Excalibur down to the next generation? I said, when would that be? And at the time he said around 2011.
Skywalking Through Neverland.
Meanwhile, with Star Trek, I had friends who loved it, and I just never, I tried. I'd sit watch episodes and
I have to
try
write a
to
report
find my way in.
This morning, our iPhone Twitter notifications went off in rapid succession, which meant big news was finally here.
Finally! The casting for Episode 7 has been announced!
And we are here now with some good friends of the show to discuss the big news of the day. Welcome Robert Bapst of the Bald Solo podcast, Scott Murray of Assembly of Geeks podcast, and longtime listener and admin of Skywalking Through Neverland, Donald Wicks. Hey, everybody.
Hello. Hello.
Nice.
So was this like Christmas morning?
It was a relief to finally get some extra details. So it's nice to have some official news.
Absolutely.
That is positive because I think a lot of people are kind of polarized on this issue, but as far as the EU goes, there's been a lot of ranting about that. So it's nice to just have some kind of unifying positive news.
Yeah, it's like, guys, you're going to be shooting in a couple of weeks. Just say it already.
And yeah, I mean, I agree with Robert. It's nice to have something official after being bombarded with speculation and rumors. And for me, I'm glad. I mean, as we got closer and closer to this news, it became more and more evident that the original cast was going to be part of this. And I've said for a long time that was a very important thing to me, especially considering, the opportunity is there, and I think it'd be a wasted opportunity not to take advantage of it. But more importantly, I think it'll tie better to Jedi that way.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just glad that they're officially involved.
Donald Wicks, what did you think?
I like everybody else across the universe. I mean, if you watched Facebook and Twitter, you know that it just exploded. And now that we've had time to really take this all in, I'm kind of at the point where we've sat down at our favorite restaurant and ordered our favorite dish, and we just had our first bite, and we're waiting for the rest of it. Like we had the appetizer, now we're waiting for the main course, and we're waiting for dessert. So it started just an amazing feeling, but I'm kind of waiting for that feeling to continue and learn more about what they have to offer.
Yeah, this is actually news that Sarah and I knew about months ago because we knew a lawyer over at Disney, and he said, they signed those contracts months ago. It's like, can we please use that on our podcast? He said, don't you dare.
Yeah, to your peril.
Yeah. We were all like at our friend's party, and we were all just talking about Star Wars, and he kind of let it slip, and the look on his face was like, oh no, what did I just say? And it's like, can we please? So this is something we knew like last September.
Yeah.
You were afraid that some guys in black suits wearing mouse ears were going to come in and take you away.
Exactly.
into the complex under Disneyland, into the secret bunker.
That would have been okay.
The Harden facility.
It would come in Stormtrooper armor wearing the mouse ears.
You know what really brought a smile to my face was seeing that beautiful black and white photo of everybody sitting around doing a read through with their, like Harrison Ford had a binder with his screenplay in it. It was kind of the way the photo was shot, the style of it, and it being black and white, it felt vintage.
Yeah, good point.
And you could tell, I mean, obviously they're new people. But you saw the R2 in the background, and it had, it was just great. It was just like seeing that photo, I was like, okay. I don't even, like, even if the copy that's written below this is written horribly, I don't care. This photo was worth it.
So who of us zoomed in on that picture hoping to get a close-up of those Episode 7 script pages?
I think it was taken at that angle deliberately, though.
Yeah.
Someone had it open. It's like, if we could only zoom in to those words.
Yeah. One I know, Inside the Magic on Twitter posted, "Hey, here's a high-res version of the photo, everyone. So who can zoom in and see what's on those script pages?"
Yeah. Break out Lightroom and start working on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, did we think the news was going to come on May the 4th? So was this a big surprise that it was announced today?
Definitely. I expected, if not a May the 4th, maybe a Revenge of the 5th possible announcement. I didn't expect it today.
What I think is they were probably planning to announce it on May the 4th, but because Twitter, like over the weekend, there was photos of all the main actors in London. They just decided, okay, guys, the cat's out of the bag. Let's just announce it.
Yeah, we can only hold this for so long.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because one of my co-hosts on the show, Tricia Barr, who talks Star Wars a whole lot, brought up a good point to the rumors that something may break on May the 4th, which is, everybody plans content and special events and blogs and things like that promote the brand already. And, if you announce something, you kind of kill all of those things that people are planning to do to help promote May the 4th, and it becomes about the news.
Yeah.
So I thought that was an interesting thing to consider as to whether or not they will announce anything on the 4th and why it might conflict with other things that are just as good for Star Wars as announcing something. And I think the only thing that we know right now that we are going to get on the 4th is, I guess we're going to get a full trailer for Rebels.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, please, yes. Can't wait.
That has been announced.
Now, let's get a rundown of these actors, starting with Daisy Ridley. Does anyone know who she is?
But she doesn't. From what I understand, she started her acting career like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
Started it last year.
Yeah, she's British-born and has appeared on several UK TV show dramas, including Youngers and Mr. Selfridge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
And she is a spitting image to Natalie Portman.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Did they do aside from the big three? Or big four, I should say. Let's not leave Peter Mayhew out. Did they do a rundown of who they're playing? 'Cause
No.
I may have missed that.
They did not.
Not yet.
So that's all what everyone's talking about on Twitter as well.
So she is a spitting image to Natalie Portman, which made Sarah go, oh.
Yeah, I know a lot of women on Twitter were kind of upset that there was only one female actress added. But what I say to that is, I don't mind being a girl in a room full of guys. It's kind of empowering. However, what I don't get is, why are there no blondes in the Star Wars universe? No blonde women. They're always dark haired, and I remember growing up being a teen and being like, I wish my hair was darker like Leia, but I always had blonde hair. Anyway.
So, what do we think of Max von Sydow, or Sydow?
I was so happy to see that name in there. He's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah. What do you know him from?
Yeah. He was the priest in The Exorcist.
Mm-hmm.
He was Judge Dredd.
You're forgetting about his big role.
Don't forget Brewmeister Smith in Strange Brew.
Yes.
That's right.
What's the one? The
Flash.
The famous movie where Flash Gordon. What about the one where he plays chess with death? I forget the name of it.
Oh, The Seventh Seal.
Yeah, Seventh Seal. That's a classic. Criterion.
And he was Blofeld in Never Say Never Again, James Bond.
Yeah, that's right.
One of the bad guys.
And he's already worked for Lucasfilm when he played Sigmund Freud in an episode of Young Indiana Jones.
He's just got such a great presence on screen.
Yeah,
he's amazing.
He's taking over that Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee slot. So you got to wonder who exactly he's going to be. If Mark Hamill is already going to step in as the older Jedi, who's Max playing? I can see him playing more of a
kind of hope
Sith.
he's a bad guy.
Yeah. Donald, when you heard of Max, what did you think?
Oh, I was excited. It kind of reminded me a lot, like you said, of Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. I mean, that was my first thought process. It was like, oh, we got this seasoned, brilliant actor who's just going to add just that higher level of quality to the performances that we're going to get from all the rest of the actors.
Here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And do we know John Boyega? He was the kid in the movie Attack the Block, a little sci-fi thriller small film that came out, I want to say 2012.
Yeah, that was an interesting movie.
Didn't see that one.
No, put it on your must-see list because that was
Really?
it was a great film.
Did I see that?
No, you didn't want to see that.
Oh, okay.
I find myself saying that to my fiance a lot too.
Oh.
It was just such an interesting concept about aliens invading this block of apartment buildings in England. And I was told the aliens looked kind of silly and goofy, and that's why I wanted to see it. But no, these things were pretty horrific.
Yeah, the aliens looked great in that film, and it was nice to see them actually, instead of fighting the military, they were fighting thugs and hoodlums.
Yeah. It was contained in this, the block was like, what do you want? I don't want to say like a ghetto, but like a little
block?
apartment building
Oh, okay.
complex.
So how old was John Boyega in this movie? I guess he was 20?
He was playing a teen.
Okay.
But he was very, very good.
Okay.
So we're gonna have a lot of British accents going
Yes.
on, which is kind of a return to form, right?
Yeah, including Andy Serkis, who was Gollum from Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
I can't. Ooh,
Caesar from Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the movie role I know him as, 13 going on 30.
Right.
He was Jennifer Garner's boss.
He was the guy that ran the agency.
At
Yeah, I didn't
Poise
see that one
magazine.
either.
He ran Poise magazine.
I'm with you, Robert.
So that would be his A-list movie. And that other Lord of the Rings, I've never heard of
whatever.
that.
Yeah.
Is that a movie?
13 going on 30.
He was one I was really excited about seeing in there.
Yeah, me
Andy
too.
Serkis.
Well, yeah. So you got to wonder: is he going to be just the movement actor, or is he going to be within the movie. Like in
is he
Planet,
gonna
not
play an
Planet of the
alien?
Apes, but
Yeah,
in King
that's
Kong,
what I-
he had a role, and he also did the movement, the reference for King Kong.
Wow.
Well, I feel like he's going more of the Peter Jackson original Lord of the Rings route, where it was, lots of live action supported by very well blended CG.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of the read on that I got, which is great. That's a good idea.
Now, the next one here, I don't know anything about him, but I was very excited to know that he's in the film, and that's Adam Driver.
Yeah, I've been racking my brain today about what I've seen him in, because I've seen him in something. I think 2 movies, but I've been trying to guess it without looking it up.
Well, he's best known for the TV series Girls, which I've never seen.
No, but he's also been in the films Inside Llewellyn Davis and Lincoln, both of which were nominated.
That film was great when he was killing vampires.
He was also in
not
one
that
with Jodie
Lincoln.
Foster where he was her husband and he was murdered, and then she went after the guys that killed him.
Which film?
It was Jodie Foster and him, and he was killed like in New York on a subway or something, and then she went to get revenge on the guys, kind of like a reverse
that.
gender Death Wish.
Yeah, I can't remember. I didn't realize he was in that.
Yeah, I mean, it was exactly Death Wish. The Charles Bronson movie, Death Wish. It was exactly that, but with Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster, right.
Yes.
Yeah, we saw that.
I am not remembering this.
Oh.
Yeah, so she went around New York basically walking around at night, like just being exposed as a female walking around New York City at night in the wrong neighborhoods, and she would, of course...
Vigilante, right?
Vigilante, yes.
I think that's...
but he played her husband. And
Okay.
so he didn't have... Yeah, there were flashbacks.
He
when
didn't have
was
too much
in
of a role because he died.
Right.
Gotcha.
I'm excited about him because he has that great look. You look at him and you can just see the character within his face. Kind of like Benedict Cumberbatch in Star Trek. Just looking at his face, you just could see the character in there. And he's not pretty boy, which I'm very happy.
I hope he's a smuggler.
Oh, so
I
far.
remember when the news broke, he was rumored, I thought, to be the villain.
Yeah. It's some kind of imperial general.
Because I remember when that news broke, and the news about the expanded universe wasn't confirmed yet. Both Tricia and Jeff thought he'd make a good Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Right.
You just paint him blue,
I think it looks like a great Talon card.
Yeah, maybe so.
That's too.
But since the news last week that the EU is out the window, that ain't going to happen.
Wah, wah.
I know.
Maybe Andy Serkis is going to play Jar Jar.
That's what I right. That's what
Jar
I
Jar's
thought.
grandson.
That crossed my mind.
He's going to bring him back. He's going to come out in a cane. Yeah, they're going to mirror the Yoda death scene in Jedi, where Jar Jar's dying in a bed, and he's...
Oh.
Oh, God.
Hey,
You guys have weird
we're Jar Jar
imagination.
fans over here. How dare you?
I'm not saying... No, okay.
I know. Gotta
I
give him
say,
that.
if he just dies in a bed, all the people that hate him are going to be mad and nerd raging that it wasn't more violent.
Well,
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
not
know.
a Jar Jar hater either, for the record, but
I'm not a hater of Jar... Yeah, I mean, you know what? When you talk to any kid who grew up on the prequels,
Yeah,
and they'll tell you, Jar Jar was great.
we all know that Star Wars is deeply rooted in things like mythology, and Jar Jar fits into the mythology.
Oh,
He's the fool.
So, what do we think about Oscar Isaac? He's an actor from, once again, Inside Llewellyn Davis.
Huh.
And he was in Ridley Scott's Robin Hood. Cricket.
Yeah, these names, I have to see the face.
Yeah,
and I don't have that in front of me right now.
And then,
Finally
we have...
Domhnall Gleeson.
Boy, these names are a mouthful.
Yes.
It's like Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher,
Adele
Peter Mayhew.
Dazeem. Yes.
Now, this kid is best known for playing Bill Weasley in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 1 and 2.
Yes.
So, he's a redhead.
Yeah.
I was actually excited to see Donald or at least anybody from Harry Potter. I think this is the first character that's cross-pollinized from one huge franchise like Harry Potter over to this one. So I'm excited. I liked him as Bill Weasley. I thought, he's a small bit part, but no complaints. He's also Brendan Gleeson's son, so he's got some acting chops.
Oh, nice. I didn't realize that. And that's a good point. about Harry Potter crossovers to Star Wars because you knew there had to be since Harry Potter has got so many English actors. Well, then there's the Warwick Davis crossover from Star Wars to Harry Potter. But yeah, Harry Potter to Star Wars. That's great. So, like I was saying before, I'm very happy that this is not a big list of pretty boys.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I know that a big rumor was Zac Efron, which we all knew that wasn't going to be true, but I thought, I hope they're not going to go that way, kind of doing like the WB form of casting where everyone's got to look like they just stepped off of GQ.
I have a feeling that was part of the original cast meeting. They were like, "Look, we could do that, but we probably shouldn't."
Yeah, yeah. And,
I'm glad they're relative unknowns.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
some of them.
ecstatic about that.
Yes.
Because hopefully the way they cast them was their chemistry with each other, which I think is the most important part. And that's how originally Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, and Harrison Ford were all cast.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and those actors, Mayhew and all of them, they're big. They're the names. So you certainly don't want to you don't want to eclipse them.
Right.
So not that you could. But.
Now, speaking of Peter Mayhew and also Anthony Daniels and Kenny Baker are also named to join the cast, which is great. But then there's people saying, well, you could put anyone in those costumes and you'd never know.
No.
I disagree.
Yeah,
no.
That's not a Star Wars fan if you're going to say that because everyone would know.
That makes me cringe to hear that. Someone said that?
Yeah, I heard that a couple of times on a different podcast, which sometimes I'll listen to 5 minutes of a podcast, and if they say something like that, it's like, nope, moving on.
Well, look at Peter Mayhew. They called him in to scan him and to watch him walk for the Clone Wars when Chewbacca was made animated. It wouldn't have been Chewbacca if Peter Mayhew didn't do that.
So Peter Mayhew is a must.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was anyone surprised not to see Billy Dee Williams in that cast photo today?
Yeah, and I've already seen kind of sort of scattered outrage about that a little bit here and there. It's sort of tongue in cheek, but I think I saw "Where's Lando" meme somewhere.
Oh,
I feel like I saw that. Which I am like, oh man, it would just be great if he were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that means he's not going to be in it.
I also think that it's possible because he was one of the few actors who was from the original cast who was out there saying that they wanted it. I want to be a part of this. They haven't called me. And he was very out in the media with that opinion. And I think maybe that might have hurt him. Maybe.
Yeah. And we were saying earlier in this discussion that we had heard from that Disney lawyer that Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and Carrie Fisher were already signed, but he never said anything about Billy Dee Williams, so I am a little worried there.
And what about Dennis Lawson?
He declined the part.
What?
I believe.
Oh,
really?
No.
Yes.
Oh,
no, that's what I heard that somewhere. I can't remember where I heard it. He declined. He didn't want to have anything more to do with like
the love and admiration of fans everywhere.
As much as Harrison Ford is Han Solo,
I agree
he is
with you.
Wedge.
Oh, you know what? They need Harrison Ford to give him a call and say, dude, what's up? I'm back. What's your problem?
Do you know how badass it would be to have Dennis Lawson in a scene with like new X-Wing pilot recruits and he's all, battle hardened and he's a general now. And I mean, that would be sick.
That would be awesome.
Oh, and he's walking and he's just like, he's over it. I've been in so many battles.
Yeah.
You green thumbs don't know what you're doing. And just, doing that speech. I would love to see that.
Maybe he's holding out for that X-Wing Squadron TV series.
Rogue Squadron?
Yeah. Now, of the rumored actors and actresses, which were you really hoping to see cast?
How about you, Scott?
I didn't care.
Okay.
At the end of the day, and the reason I say that is because we don't know what this movie's about. We don't know what's happening, so I can't say who I hope to see in it, other than, like I said, I wanted the original cast in. Really, that's going to be the bigger news to me to some degree now. What is this about? What happens? That's probably almost a bigger announcement to me than the casting, because I just really want to know where are they going to go with this. And we all we know is they're not going to do the expanded universe stuff, at least not entirely. So it didn't really faze me who was in, who was out, who was going to be in it, other than just general interest, because I don't know what it's about, and I'm anxious to find out.
So, Donald, how about you? Was there anyone that you were gunning for?
As far as real life actors, nobody in particular. I'm happy to be surprised.
Outside of the actors who are already cast, is there anyone you guys want to see in future movies? Like for me, I really like the kid from Once Upon a Time who played Robin Hood. Not Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Peter Pan, rather.
Oh, Peter Pan.
Robbie K. I thought he was just such a tremendous presence.
Yeah, he is.
That I would love to see him in a Star Wars film.
That's an interesting choice. Yeah, that would be cool.
I wouldn't mind seeing some of the actors from the Avengers in there.
I wouldn't mind that either.
I know it'd be weird. I mean, yeah, because they were getting incestual a bit, like Marvel, Disney, Star Wars. But I feel like Hemsworth would be a great. He could play. I mean, you could go.
According to Sarah, he could play anything.
A few ways with that one.
Yep.
He could play a lightsaber.
I tell you, I've really warmed up to Chris Evans because of Captain America. Like, I wasn't a big fan of his before that.
Now, has anyone here sent in an audition tape for Episode 7?
No.
I tried out for Jabba, but no.
Oh.
I know. I wanted to just so I could say I auditioned for Episode 7, but I figured, what's the point?
Well, you weren't in the age range that they were requesting.
Well, who would you want to play?
I don't care. But just to say you sent in an audition tape. I know thousands of people did that, but it's not really fair to the casting directors and assistants who have got to go through all these tapes. So I did it for them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, to wrap this up, I'm sure we're all very, very excited. Any last thoughts on the casting for Episode 7?
Ready to know what it's about.
Yes, I am right there with you. I just want to know what it's about.
Same here. And a title.
Yes.
Oh, the title reveal is going to be big.
Yes. Speaking of, on Twitter today, James Arnold Taylor did a whole Ask JAT little thing. When he has 15 minutes, he'll do that randomly on Twitter, and you can just tweet questions to him. We asked him, what would your title be for Star Wars Episode 7? Like, what do you think the title should be? And he tweeted back, The Return of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Of course.
I thought that was hilarious.
The Return of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yes.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very, very much for our Episode 7 cast announcement discussion.
Thanks
Thanks for having me. Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
All right. So, for Scott, Donald, and Robert, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And remember, Neverland on Alderaan.
Hey, Luke. May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
Hello, this is Scott Murray from the Assembly of Geeks podcast, and I'd just like to wish all of the Skywalkers, as well as everyone involved with Skywalking through Neverland, an awesome, Force-powered May the 4th and Revenge of the 5th.
This is Donald Wicks, fan supreme of Skywalking through Neverland, wishing everybody out there a very happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you.
This is Robert Bapst from the Bald Solo podcast, wishing Skywalking through Neverland and all the listeners out there a very happy May the 4th and a very dark side filled Revenge of the 5th.
The very first all Star Wars convention was held over the Memorial Day weekend in Los Angeles to celebrate the saga's 10th anniversary.
So this was 1987?
Yeah, 10 years. That's so cute. I was lucky enough to have attended what I call Celebration Zero. One of the highlights was the very first appearance by George Lucas, who had just flown in from England where he was shooting Willow. We've aired some of this Q&A on past shows, but because it was held in a very large, vacuous banquet room and because it was shot on a camera from the mid-'80s, the sound was not great and it's kind of hard to understand. So we're going to roll a couple of minutes so we can help repeat the questions if needed, or just crack wise on questions that were asked 27 years ago.
And the answers that were given 27 years ago.
Yeah, this is going to be really funny.
I watched it twice.
Awesome.
I was like, and you know what? I know the guy who's holding the camera, so I was living vicariously through you.
Oh.
All right, Robert, you ready to play?
Yeah, I have it queued up and ready to play. You just tell me when to press. I'll press spacebar.
And press.
All right, ready and action.
Yes, right there. So all the films you worked on in your career, which of you enjoyed working on the most and why? Of all the films you've worked on in your career, which ones did you enjoy most and why?
So finally, the host stepped in and started repeating the questions because no one in that room could hear what anyone was saying. So someone had asked, of all the films you'd worked on, which one did you enjoy the most?
And why?
Yeah.
Well, all the films, I think I loved Indiana Jones. I mean, the Raiders was the most because great director, and it just went together like a dream, and it was, for me, it was a great relief because up to that point I'd been directing.
So
yeah.
So did you know the answer before watching the video?
I thought he was going to say THX 1138. It was that or American Graffiti.
Yeah, I was going to say American Graffiti.
The one that he liked?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd always heard he loved Raiders. Finally, he had pull where he could tell the studios, I don't care what you say, we're going to paint it green.
Yeah, no, I definitely guessed it wrong, but I wasn't surprised by his answer because I was like, oh, yeah, of course. I mean, he was always passionate about the context of Indiana Jones being the kind of the action adventure serials of the 30s. That made sense when he said his answer. I was like, oh, yeah.
Maybe the next one is me.
With the blue cap. Okay. First question is comment. How many more Indiana Jones is going to be made? And I don't care what the critic says, I like Howard the Duck.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's asking how many more Indiana Jones films are going to be made.
And he doesn't care what the critics say. He likes Howard the Duck.
Well, there's going to be at least one more Indiana Jones because we're working on it right now. And there'll be 7 more Howard the Ducks.
And the crowd goes wild.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's more for Howard the Duck than Indiana Jones.
That was so cool to hear that because he's talking about Last Crusade. Oh, that's so cool to see that. It's like, yeah, you're working on Last Crusade.
Here's one. Are there going to be any more Star Wars movies, right? Someday. Are you going to do any other science fantasy films?
We have a few that I'm toying with at this point, and Mike's starting on a screenplay of one of them next year sometime.
And
What is his answer?
He just said he's working on some scripts.
It's toying around.
Yeah. What is he referring to?
He didn't do anything.
Did
he
Willow?
Just did the prequels.
When did Willow come out?
There were the prequels, and then there was Crystal Skull, and there's Red Tails.
Right, but he may have been referring to Willow that comes out in '88.
Yeah. He said something. He said something about next year.
Yeah. Okay. Willow. God, that's horrible. I forgot about Willow. Yeah, Willow.
Okay, he made it sound like there was things past Willow, but I guess he's referring to Willow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in here somewhere. I think I'm in this segment.
Are we ever going to get to see any of the bloopers from Star Wars Empire or Jedi?
Is that you?
Was that you?
That's not your voice.
No.
I was like, wow, Richard, your man voice came in later, didn't it?
I don't think so. The truth of it is there weren't very many bloopers from those films. I mean, they were shot on a budget, and we didn't really have time to print up the bloopers, or the money. And the truth of it is there weren't that many. It wasn't. Some films you have a lot of bloopers on, and some you don't. I mean, most of the bloopers we have are stormtroopers running around with their helmets bouncing off.
It'd be funny if Lucas said, "Yeah, just check the Blu-ray." As we see in the Blu-ray, there's a ton of outtakes and bloopers. I just don't think that he was really aware of what was out there.
Yeah.
And I think since then there's been a lot of archivists Not the right enunciation?
Yeah.
Archivist.
Archivist.
Sure.
There have been a lot of archivists who have gone into these vaults and dug up a lot of this footage. So, power to them.
Yes.
Does or will Lucasfilm ever have internships for young filmmakers?
Will Lucasfilm ever have internships for young filmmakers?
And there I am.
That was you.
Wow.
My first round of applause. That was me.
I didn't know that was you, and I thought that was a really great question. That was actually my favorite question. I seriously, that's not set up. I had no idea that was you.
And I had no idea that my question was going to be in this segment. So that was really fun. That was an 18-year-old me.
Nice.
And is that an 18-year-old you that wants a film internship at Lucasfilm?
Oh, big time. This is when I was just graduating high school, and I just taken all these film and video courses, and I was working at the local TV station, and I had just been accepted into Emerson College in Boston for filmmaking.
Wow.
So I really, really wanted to be the next big George Lucas.
We're a very small company, and from time to time we have hired people, not as young filmmakers, but in various work capacities. And those people have gone on to rise through the company. So we do that, but it's on a very limited scale because it's not a very big company. Thank you.
For my yearbook, my quote was, "I talked to George Lucas."
Aww.
Everyone had the, "Hey, I'm going to be doing this, and so long, and see ya," and just their own wisdoms of life. Mine was, "I talked to George Lucas."
A well-earned quote, yes.
Yeah.
I wish I had my yearbook, but I never got one. All right, so Robert, my future plan is to do more of these kind of segments.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I really like this. It's fun to, especially kind of in a time machine kind of way, because you're going. I mean, it's so neat seeing him there so young like that, and to know what's coming as a viewer. Like, right. I know he's talking about Last Crusade, and I know the prequels are on a yellow notepad, stuff like that. So yeah, that's really fun.
So let's wrap it up there, and we'll continue on with this segment on a future episode.
May the Force be with us.
Oh, Maxie bit the Force.
All right, I'm up. Hey, this is Tricia Delgado from Fangirls Going Rogue and Jedi News. May the 4th be with you.
This is Mark Augushowitz, creative consultant of Skywalking Through Neverland, and may the 4th be with you.
And may the Schwartz be with you.
A long time ago, in an era known as the 70s and the 80s, when there was very little Star Wars content to help fill in the gaps, we had to go on our first impressions. We had no spin-offs or expanded universe to help us visualize what things like the Clone Wars meant, who was the Emperor, and what memories did Leia actually have of her mother.
Now, for our May the 4th show today, we'll be talking to past friends, including Chris Alexander, author of Star Wars Origami, Star Wars author with such credits as the Despotica and Star Wars Insider, Michael Kogge, and from fangirlblog.com and Fangirls Going Rogue, we have Tricia Barr. And we'll be talking to everyone about their first impressions to the references.
Do we recall the days when we had to let our imaginations do the work? Like when Princess Leia first mentioned the Clone Wars back in Episode 4. When she first said that, what did we all think the Clone Wars actually were? Chris?
Well, I thought they were a bunch of clones having a war. I had no idea. It wasn't one of my main topics, but I remember getting the impression that Obi-Wan and, well, we didn't know his name at the time, Anakin, were out there with lightsabers fighting clones. That's what I thought. I thought there was somebody had created clones, tried to take over the galaxy with them, and the Jedi stopped them. That was my thought.
Okay. Tricia, did you have any impressions on what this Clone Wars meant?
Well, I didn't actually think it was clones fighting. I thought maybe they were fighting about cloning or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And I was young, so early on, I sort of had this impression of wars being like, knights in shining armor, like King Arthur knights, not war that we saw on the movie theater. But, it's just what I knew and what I understood at an early age that sort of formed that first impression.
Interesting.
I never thought of it like that.
So my impression came from Obi-Wan's line. When Luke said, "You fought in the Clone Wars?" Yes, I was once a Jedi Knight. So anybody who fought in the Clone Wars was a Jedi Knight.
Oh, that's an interesting impression.
That was my impression.
Oh.
Huh.
Michael, how about yourself?
Yeah, what was interesting is I never made the connection between clones and the Clone Wars as a kid. And my mind was just full of when I heard that, when Obi-Wan say that, my mind was just full of all these different ideas for adventures, but I never thought of clones. Maybe I interpreted it. I thought of the Cologne Wars.
Yes, you smell bad, you're on that side.
It wasn't until later that, clones. And I still didn't kind of get it until later. So, I always thought, also the Clone Wars were far in the past, the way that Obi-Wan spoke about them. So it was like a very distant time. And it was a time that nobody really remembered either.
Now, this was my impression when I first heard the Clone Wars and Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan. Is he the first clone? Because Obi-Wan, I thought, he must be. So they must have cloned Obi-Wan and fought these wars. So but I wasn't sure who Obi-Wan was fighting, but I just pictured a battlefield filled with Alec Guinness lookalikes.
So Obi-Wan, Obi-2, Obi-3?
Well, there's Obi-Wan, the master clone, the master copy. And then you had a whole big field dressed with people dressed like Obi-Wan. And then in the Marvel comics, they would often show what Obi-Wan was like when he was young. He had a purple robe for some reason. So I thought, maybe Obi-Wan 53 or Obi-53 had a chartreuse robe. Obi-Wan number 99, Obi-9, he had maybe something in the lavender.
That's funny.
So that's what my impression of the Clone Wars were. But I thought, now, are they fighting stormtroopers?
Huh. I know.
It makes a lot of sense because they used to always spell out the names of the numbers for C-3PO and R2-D2. So why not Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan.
But then I thought the same thing too, but Wan is W-A-N. I thought maybe they're trying to hide Obi-Wan. He's in the desert. He's a hermit. Maybe that's just their way of hiding Obi-Wan.
Right. I know for me, the Clone Wars it was in the same breath as Obi-Wan saying to Luke that the Jedi were keepers of peace and justice in the galaxy. And so for me, I did not equate Jedi with being in the Clone Wars. I thought that maybe Anakin was before he was a Jedi, he was in these long forgotten Clone Wars. And like you, Michael, I did not associate it with clones. I just thought that was just a name of a war, like the Korean War or the World War.
Yeah, I had read the Star Wars novel as a kid, and I had no idea what the word clone meant, so I had to ask my teacher.
Did you read it before or after seeing the movie?
Oh, way after.
I might be unique in the entire country. I read the book before seeing the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, like we were talking about right before we started recording, Chris and I were talking about doing some kind of a discussion like this back in 1984. So which really made me think about doing all these kind of things, because what we had as our first impressions back then to what it is now is just totally different. Like the Jedis. Did anyone else think the Jedis were more than what they were?
I like I said, though, I thought just Jedi was a soldier, period. They carried a sword. They went up against the bad guys. That whole thing with the Force didn't quite make the connections that makes them really super special. And back then, before midichlorians, I thought everybody accessed the Force.
Oh. What about you, Tricia? What did you think of Jedi?
We actually talked about this when I did the Rebel Force Radio Declassified on the Mace Jar Jar episodes of the Clone Wars, that the planet they went to, that sort of looked what I imagined the Jedi would be. And, kind of these monks living in a spiritual world type thing. So that was sort of how I envisioned them.
Right, yeah, that's how I pictured them being monks, being in these big temples. Then when I saw Phantom Menace, I think that was one of the jarring things for a lot of people, that their impressions didn't match up with what they saw in the Phantom Menace. Because I didn't picture them being in this big, ornate temple like they were.
I had a weird moment seeing that movie when they talked about midichlorians and how the more you have, the more powerful you are in the Force. Again, going back to, I thought everybody could be a Jedi. If you just want to be a Jedi, you just train to be a Jedi and you learn to use it. And now part of me is going, so I can't, if I try hard enough, I can't access the Force.
Aww.
It was kind of disappointing.
Well, you got to talk to your own midichlorians.
Right, but you have to have them. And if you don't, then you can't. And it was kind of, it actually sort of separated the Jedi from the normal people. And my impression was the Jedi were normal people. So it altered that whole worldview on, or universe view, or whatever you'd call that. But it altered it for me. It was kind of strange.
Okay.
Yeah, and it kind of establishes that there's a genetic superiority that goes about in Star Wars, which I guess in terms of explaining things is right, but it for A New Hope, it kind of took away some of the magic of the journey of Luke, this young boy just becoming a Jedi on his own. So.
Right.
I agree.
But with midichlorians, to what I'm understanding is that everyone's got midichlorians, but can you communicate with them so they can communicate with the Force?
You need an app for that.
All right. Good deal. Now, Chris, one thing that you had brought up a little while ago when we were talking about this was the Emperor.
The Emperor, yeah. Again, reading the book first, those are my first impressions. And in the original book, I haven't looked at a new copy, so I don't know if they've changed it. But the Emperor was a nobody, a shutaway, who was just ignored by all of his bootlickers. And Vader and Tarkin had no respect for him in the chamber during that conversation. So his character changed massively between Star Wars and Empire.
Right. Now, Michael and Tricia, did you two read the Star Wars novel? Because the way they portrayed the Emperor was so different from what we see finally in The Empire Strikes Back or even Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I just read the novel actually recently, and they just have the mention of Senator Palpatine taking over. And what I liked about it, and what I liked about the first film, is that there's a distance from all that. There's a mystery to it.
Yeah.
And you see it a little bit in Empire, and it really builds to a crescendo in Jedi when you finally see the Emperor revealed. It really works well. Mm-hmm. But I do like A New Hope, where Emperor Palpatine is a mysterious force that nobody's really seen or knows, or they only talk about the Emperor. They don't even mention his last name.
They did, actually. It's in the prologue before the book.
It's in the prologue, right?
In the movie, he meant.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. In the prologue, they just say that Palpatine is someone who's controlled by the people he put in power and all the bootlickers.
Yeah. And then in that one scene where someone says, "In the name of the Emperor," not without sarcasm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's not a Sith Lord either.
No, he isn't.
No.
That was another thing I kept wondering about when I was a kid. What is a Sith?
They were the bad guys. I mean, Star Wars was so, when I was young, so black and white. They were the bad guys.
Right.
The bad guys can't come into the movie in black, and that's who they were. You knew who they were. If you saw a Disney movie, you knew, the bad character, Maleficent, I remember from being young, is, she's in the black. She's the bad person. Of course, that sort of changed over time. And it's always interesting because I'm still not sure Star Wars knows what Sith are, because it's been so evolving here between the prequel trilogies and what the novels have done with them, and even sort of what the Clone Wars has portrayed from them. So it's interesting to see how that's. I think as everybody comes in, they bring their own little imagination of what they are. So it's interesting. They to me just represented. They were evil, and that's. So I was like, Sith, ooh.
Right. Just put that evil label on it and you were done.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I knew there was the Jedi, and I just figured, kind of get the angels and the devils being the light and the dark. I just figured they were part of the dark, but did they all look like Darth Vader, or is this part of a clone thing?
See, I thought the same sort of thing. Is Darth Vader, the Sith, they all wear that black helmet and the black costume, and same thing. Jedi all wore Obi-Wan's outfit, which they actually ended up doing.
So, Michael, did you have any thoughts about the Emperor or the Sith as you were growing up and there was no information to help guide you through all this?
Yeah, again, I really like the mystery about it and not knowing anything. I just thought they were the bad guys. I do know that Lucas took the name Sith from Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Oh, really?
And it's the name of an insect in the Edgar Rice Burroughs, John Carter Mars books. And just like some of the other names that Lucas uses in the original Star Wars, they're from classic science fiction. So when I was recently reading those John Carter Mars books, I saw the word Sith and I just was like, wow, Star Wars is such a great amalgam of all classic science fiction.
Wow.
But when I was a kid, actually, there was Bantha Tracks, and I remember seeing the winners of this contest, and there was an audio play that some girl had done called Dark Lords of the Sith, and she probably recorded her friends. This might have been like 1984, 1985, and I was like, oh, I want to hear that. I've always wanted to hear that. So Dark Lords of the Sith was always, that whole phrase always kind of intrigued me.
Yeah, I'm still reeling over this whole Sith being part of John Carter.
Yeah, check it out. Check out, I think the first or second book, he uses the word Sith, spells it S-I-T-H.
Wow.
See, once again, proof that Star Wars is perfect.
Now, did they use the word Sith in the John Carter movie?
I don't think they did.
I would have noticed that one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think they would have known better than to do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of the words, like Corellia is in the Asimov Foundation trilogy. Alderaan, there's a word in the E.E. Doc Smith world called Aldebaran.
I've seen that one.
There's a lot of links.
There's an actual
Lucas did his
star.
homework.
Wow.
Chris, you said there's an actual star?
There's a star, Aldebaran.
Aldebaran, yeah. There's an actual star, too.
And then also some of the creatures, Claytu, Barada, and Niktu.
Yeah.
Which was the key word from...
Day the Earth Stood Still.
Day the Earth Stood Still, that's it.
Okay.
And then Tatooine is the name of a real...
city in
right?
Tunisia.
Yes.
Yeah, we just spoke to a woman who was in charge, Miriam Usladi, who was in charge of the Star Wars Tunisia fan club. And
Wait, hold on. It's a real city?
It's a real city called Tatooine.
Now I'm going to have to move.
Okay.
You're already in a desert. Might as well move to that
just one
desert.
step. It's
Remember how Tricia was just saying how hot Florida is? Triple it.
Then you're almost at Lancaster.
Yeah.
That's where I live.
Now, the big visual one that always stuck out for me was when I read the Rolling Stone magazine issue with Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, Luke Han, Leia, and Chewbacca on it. And George Lucas was talking about the duel between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader over the volcanic pit.
When did this Rolling Stone magazine come out?
77.
Okay.
The summer of Star Wars. And they were asking him about Darth Vader. Who is he? What does he look like? And George Lucas went into explaining that Obi-Wan and Darth Vader had a big duel. Obi-Wan knocked Darth Vader into the volcanic pit, and that's why he's all burnt.
Wow.
And needs the respirator and all that equipment to breathe. That's why he's more machine now than man. But yeah, I remember reading that same one going, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that too. And I always pictured a volcano. They were on the edge of the volcano.
That's what I
pictured. And they were always fighting and, one person could fall. So I never pictured a whole planet like Revenge of the Sith. I pictured one volcano.
Well, I remember for as long as I have conscious memory of Star Wars, I knew that there was a volcano involved. So that, that something had happened. And it ended up being in the end was way more awesome than my little imagination could have thought of. But I guess over all those years, that's what George Lucas knew what he was going towards. And it's pretty cool how it ended up. But
yeah, I love the way they did it in Revenge of the Sith. I thought that was just perfect. Except when Obi-Wan leaves a smoldering Anakin.
Yeah, it was kind of cruel.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least dump him in the lava bed, in the lava, just so he's not suffering.
Clean up your mess, really, is what we're saying.
there are huge fandom debates I remember from back in the day about that, whether it was in character or out of character for what that scene, that moment. I mean, just raging debates. It was quite interesting. People brought really great arguments for both sides, which is one of the things I love about Star Wars is you can see it from a lot of different perspectives.
What side were you on?
I think that if he would have killed him, it would have been something that wasn't in his character. So he walked away.
He loved him too much. They were brothers. They had that whole relationship. I don't think if I was in his place, I could have done it.
Yeah, but he still loved Anakin.
That's what I mean.
He still could see that in him, but would he want him to suffer?
Well, there's some people who see that was a little bit spiteful, and there were other people who just thought that he could never do it. So that's where I sided on. But I could see both sides, and I love when stories let you maybe decide for yourself and don't tell you what it is.
Yeah, I love that. Very German expressionistic. And I had heard when they shot that scene, they forgot to have Obi-Wan go and grab Anakin's lightsaber. He just walked away. And someone on the crew said, George, I don't want to bring this up at all, but Obi-Wan gives Anakin's lightsaber to Luke in Episode 4. Do you want to get an insert of him grabbing the lightsaber?
Now, that explains something I've always wondered since the movie came out. And Obi-Wan saying, your father wanted you to have this when you were old enough.
Right.
And then they didn't. He picked it up out of the dirt.
Well, it was true from his point of view. See, that one line covers up so many.
It does.
So many continuity flaws. See, now, I'd always pictured Obi-Wan backing Darth Vader, the big mechanical Sith Lord, over the edge of the volcano as Darth Vader. He goes into the volcano, and then all the lava seeps into the mask, kind of like water through a colander. And because it's now burning his face, and he's just going nuts.
So you really have a dark side.
Yeah.
That's what I always pictured, because I had the Dawn Post mask, and I knew there was little holes everywhere in the chin and the grill. So I just pictured all this lava going, oh no, that's gotta hurt. And that's why his face is all burnt.
There you go.
See, I put a lot of thought into this over the last 30 years.
See, now, back to what we were just talking about, that whole scene also changed a lot. My perception way back when and how it changed. And Obi-Wan saying, your father wanted you to have this when you were old enough, but he didn't. So that's really Obi-Wan going, I need you, and I'm going to snowball you to make you follow me along. Here's a lightsaber, and I'm going to tell you it's your dad's, and he wanted you to follow it, but I just kind of need you because I don't want you. And that changed that character for me, seeing him not actually being bequeathed the lightsaber by Anakin. Put way too much thought into this, didn't I?
No, you're right, because the Jedis aren't really known for telling the truth.
Yeah, that's true, too.
That's more of the Sith Lord. They tell the truth.
You guys were on a Star Wars podcast. We do put way too much thought into it. But that's par for the course, I think.
So I think there's been a lot of debate about the Jedis and is Obi-Wan the character that we all want him to be? Because he wanted to tell Luke all about his father, but Yoda said, no, back off. So the Jedis aren't really seen anymore as the upfront heroes.
I can picture a scene where Obi-Wan approaches the Lars farm and says, I want to tell Luke about his heritage. I want to give him the lightsaber. And your uncle refused to. All right, Uncle Owen, you will allow me to talk. I will let you talk to Luke. How hard would that have been?
But then there's all that new footage that resurfaced a couple of months ago that someone had found on the edit droid about all these cut scenes that no one knew existed. And there was some raw footage of Obi-Wan and Luke talking on Dagobah from Return of the Jedi, and Obi-Wan saying, I've always wanted to tell you, but Yoda said not to.
Oh, I never heard that one.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So Obi-Wan really, really wanted to tell him, but Yoda kept saying, he just can't handle it right now.
Boy, Yoda has no faith in Luke. Well, I guess he would know what he's talking about. He trained Jedi for how long? Over 9 years or something like that?
9 or 10 years.
Yeah, something like that.
And now, how about going to Return of the Jedi, when Luke and Leia had that brief discussion about their mother.
That one's a scene that's bothered me for 20, 30, how long, many years has it been now? Carry the 1 plus 4.
Why? Why is that?
That whole scene, like, do you remember your mother? So she was raised by Luke's mother. Who is that woman? How come she got that? And Luke was hidden away, but she had her name changed, and he didn't even bother changing Luke's name. So the Emperor can track him down. He's a Skywalker. How hard would that
But
be?
as they always say, Skywalker's like the Anderson of the Star Wars galaxy.
Apparently. But that whole scene changed when, like, how much, yeah, you remember your mother because you died when she was very young. Like 3 seconds old.
Yeah.
You know, there's a great moment in the radio plays where Darth Vader he's in the ship and he's talking about Tatooine, and he calls it that miserable dust ball of a planet, right? And at the time, you know, Daly didn't know that Darth Vader was actually from this planet. But in the overall context of in continuity, it makes a lot of sense that Darth Vader probably knew something was down there, and part of him did not want to confront it. He did not want either to see Obi-Wan again or to see Luke again, if he did have a son. So I always liked that kind of mystery. Maybe Vader was the one who kept the Emperor from, pursuing his children.
That'd be an interesting
That's a good point.
thought.
That's a very good point.
Of course, they erased that in episode. How could that be? Well, search your feelings. You know you've got kids. Oh, yeah, I guess I do. All right.
Well, it makes sense that Vader is just waiting for his son to get old enough where the two of them could be powerful as one to confront the Emperor. So maybe he did know Luke was down there. Maybe he was just waiting out his years, and maybe he was a little afraid of Obi-Wan.
That's possible. Opens up whole new... Yeah, scary.
What about you, Tricia? What did you think of that Luke and Leia scene in Return of the Jedi?
I don't remember like what point I was just sort of like, wow, that isn't what I thought it was. But we just didn't have a lot of context in that moment. So you form all these, crazy little stories in your head, or, as I did, I used to write them down. And for me, it was this big emotional moment because you see Luke there and he doesn't know his family or his parents, and she's talking about remembering but not really, and that was just that great kind of moment where they connected. And then obviously you went on to the shock of learning who they actually were, so that sort of more flavored that whole moment for me. Was the moment of connection than anything else. So
yeah. And Bale was friends with Padme, and so he probably brought Leia up with stories about her mother, especially as a child. So her, the child Leia could have actually seen, her mother through her, memories through the stories.
I always thought that one of the handmaidens had gone and kind of overseen her.
Yeah.
and there's a little bit in some of the role-playing games that kind of implies that Sabe might have gone in there, but it's not canon. But that's sort of kind of what I thought, and I thought that maybe they might have told her. There's we see Leia from the beginning. She knows how to shoot. She's exactly like what we see the handmaidens in the Phantom Menace. There's a great mirror there. She's a better shot most of the stormtroopers, and she knows how to take over controls on the Millennium Falcon and do things. So she's not unfamiliar with what she needs to do. And so I just thought that someone had trained her and taught her and brought her along, and it made sense to me after seeing the Phantom Menace that that's what the role was, and that's why she remembered her mother, maybe more so that that she had been told things. And sometimes you remember things as a child. I know my sister says stuff she remembers. There's no way she remembers, but we told her,
Right. Now, are you saying that you had seen this in a role-playing game that Sabe had trained Leia?
There's a little teeny. I just blogged about it recently. and because I'm always talking about the handmaidens on Fangirls Going Rogue, but there's a little teeny bit in one of the I think like 1999. So what's it? Secrets of Naboo, and then there's another manual that has a little bit about the handmaidens and what they could and couldn't do, and a little bit about Sabe had gone around and helped form the rebellion, but that she'd visited Alderaan on occasion to meet with Bail. So I thought that was kind of cool because they actually could work her into Star Wars Rebels in that kind of context.
Oh,
Nice.
Wow. Way to think that one out.
Yeah.
I love that idea. I'm really hoping they're going to bring prequel characters into Rebels. I know they want to focus more on the original trilogy, but that would be just awesome to have a Star Wars property that ties in the prequels and the original trilogy, the way that Darth Plagueis novel did.
Well, that's Star Tours. I know. I'm
the
just
circle
kidding.
is now complete.
Yes.
All right. So, everyone, is there anything else that you had thought that you had a first impression of back in the day that completely changed because of the expanded universe or the prequels?
I'll tell you one of my moments. I grew up watching the movie. I was young enough to really appreciate it when they came out. And then 3 years of comic books and who did what and how did that. So Vader became this godlike being of awesome evilness. And then he bows to the Emperor. How bad must this guy be? That was one of those moments like, oh, man.
All right, so you know what? We're going to wrap it up. So thank you once again to Chris Alexander and Tricia Barr and Michael Kogge. I appreciate you guys coming into the round table and really fleshing out these ideas.
And may the 4th be with you.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks so much for the invite, guys. I really appreciate talking to you, and it was fun to talking to you, Chris and Tricia.
It was nice meeting both of you.
Yes, nice meeting both of you.
May the 4th be with you.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Tricia.
This is Michael Kogge. I'm the author of many articles for the Star Wars Insider and the Despotica. I would like to wish Skywalking Through Neverland a happy May the 4th.
This is Tricia Barr from Fangirls Going Rogue, and I'd like to wish everyone on Skywalking Through Neverland a May the 4th day.
This is Chris Alexander, author of Star Wars Origami. I want to wish everybody at Skywalking Through Neverland a happy May the 4th. And may the 4th be with you.
May the Force be with us all.
So, Robert, did your teachers in grammar school ever make you write in journals?
Yes.
Really? Luckily, my 3rd and 4th grade teacher, Mrs. Patterson, she made everyone write down things in their journal every week or every couple of weeks. And like the pack rat that I am, I saved my journals from 1978, 79, and 1980.
Oh, man, I wish I'd saved mine.
Yeah.
Now we're going to time warp back to see what I was doing on May the 4th, 1978.
May 4th, 1978. Yesterday, me and my friend Jimmy went to the park. We had a picnic with Jimmy's father. Jimmy's father went to play basketball at the court. We used the Star Wars guys. We stayed out until 8. Then we made a big wall out of sticks and rocks so the land speeder couldn't go through. I put the sand person on top, the land speeder smashed it down. Then the stormtroopers made a wall on top of them. The stormtrooper and Darth Vader took the land speeder. We made it chase C-3PO, then C-3PO went to Luke and Chewbacca.
So I think it's time to reveal the May the 4th giveaway winner.
And that winner is...
No, hold on. Gotta do the countdown first.
Almost there.
All right, so sorry, winner. You gotta wait a few more minutes. Now, Robert, what are you waiting for? What are you counting down the minutes to? Yep. Star Wars weekends. It's exactly what we were going to say. And that
did that to me on purpose.
And that starts when, Robert? May 16th, 2014.
You're right. Good
yeah,
job.
2014. I knew that.
And how many more days until Star Wars weekends begins? 11 days. To the date that this show airs on Revenge of the Fifth.
Awesome. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys are finally getting them out there.
Yeah, we cannot wait. And we're so glad that we're going to meet friends out there like Tricia Barr and Tricia Delgado who are going to be at Star Wars weekends too.
Scott Murray's going to be at a different weekend.
Yeah.
From Assembly of Geeks.
And Chris Alexander will be at the weekend after us.
Arg.
So now we're going because they refuse to bring Star Wars weekends to Disneyland. And no matter how many times we ask them, they haven't responded. So a little while ago, Sarah and I started our own campaign at facebook.com/bring Star Wars weekends to Disneyland.
So all you have to do is go to that page and like it, and then share it with your friends.
Because every once in a while, we'll send these results over to the hierarchy at Disney, and, well, they'd like to see numbers. So the more they're seeing these numbers rise, the more they're going to think, okay, we can do something with this.
And there you
So
go.
that's our attempt to bring it 3,000 miles across the country, or 20 minutes away from us. Now, Robert, what are you looking forward to in 2015?
Star Wars Episode VII.
Star Wars Celebration Anaheim. You are
Celebration
right
Anaheim.
on the
That's
mark
what I was gonna say.
once again.
This is like the other night at trivia when I scored at gonk level. How am I gonking out on these questions? Gonk, gonk.
Now, there's only 11 months
That's
until Star Wars Celebration Anaheim 2015.
Starting April 16th through the 19th, 2015.
Yay!
Have you gotten your tickets yet?
When I get paid, yes, I will be getting them.
Okay, go get them. Go get them. Don't be sold out. We'll be very mad at you.
Because
I hope they don't sell out already.
I hope not too, but it's Star Wars.
There's only 346 more days.
So get
what
those,
are you waiting for?
Get those tickets now.
Okay.
Next paycheck, damn it.
Yes.
All right, Disney Expo, which this is going to be like the Celebration Anaheim 2015 Part 2.
Yes, that is August 14th through 16th, 2015. And there are only 466 days until that event.
And there's going to be so much Star Wars going on there.
Yep.
And luckily, that too is in Anaheim, California.
Score.
Did we mention that's only 20 minutes away from us?
Sorry, Bald Solo.
18 minutes if there's no traffic?
Well, you guys are like lifetime pass holders, aren't you?
Well, yeah, we make sure that happens, yes.
You
Every
always
year.
have a season. It's like a year pass, right?
Yeah, it's an annual pass. We have to upgrade. Basically, one time a year, we pay a whole bunch of money to get into Disneyland, and then the rest of the year it's free.
What else are you waiting for in 2015?
Episode 7.
Yes.
Yes, you are right.
Ding ding
Yay! I went from like gonk droid to Porkids.
That's not that's more of a lateral move.
Lateral? Okay, I went from gonk to Salacious Crumb.
There you go. Now we're talking.
Porkins is on par with gonk droid? That's horrible.
Well, gonk droid survived.
You have a
So
point.
I guess gonk droid would be above Porkins.
You have a point, sir.
Now, if you were to guess without using Siri or Google, how many more days do you think until December 18th, 2015? If you guess
Hold
right,
on.
you will be the winner of our May the 4th giveaway.
What day is it? It's May what? Today is May
8th.
2nd.
No, I'm sorry, yeah.
Today's May 5th?
Yeah, but no Googling it.
I'm thinking in my head. 475 days.
Oh, you were so close to winning our May the 4th giveaway. Asterisk, you wouldn't really have won.
Well, thanks.
You're so mean?
We just wanted to feel the pressure.
I was close.
No. You're more than
the
100
worst.
days off.
How many days?
You're more than 100 days off.
Well, fine.
Sorry.
16 more guesses.
I'm not guessing anymore. There's nothing in it for me.
You know what? The admiration of your two friends right over here. Come on.
Okay, 523.
592. You are correct.
Yay! I get a free Skywalking Through Neverland shirt.
Yes, you do. As of May the 5th, there are 592 more days, and you will get what is it? Oh, and now you will get a Skywalking Through Neverland shirt.
And one of your limited edition collectibles.
Oh.
What?
What's that?
What?
Is it an Apple product?
Just randomly pick through one of your Star Wars collectibles, and that's what I win, right?
Oh.
So guess who's not staying over at our place for Star Wars Anaheim or Episode 7? I
Why is
have
the house
everything
so
I have
bare?
accounted for and documented.
Oh man. Yeah, really. You have nothing to worry about. Yeah.
If you go into my Star Wars room, you must have an escort.
Does everybody have to be escorted into your Star Wars room?
No.
Just you.
Just the ones who threaten to steal.
I would never steal from your Star Wars collection. No.
I know that.
Well, on our special May the 4th Revenge of the 5th podcast episode, we have some special shout-outs. And also, Richard, this is when we announce the May the 4th winner.
You want to do it now?
No. We need some shout-outs first.
Oh,
okay. Well, first of all, I want to give some shout-outs to people who have reviewed us on iTunes this week. Kisu, Kiisu, says that this podcast holds my attention, which is great because I get distracted very easily. Shiny! Subscribe. That was very cute.
I see what he did.
Yeah. Or she.
He
sounded like a she, actually.
He or she is.
Yes.
Gets distracted so easily they couldn't even finish that sentence.
Yes.
Something shiny distracted them.
I wonder what it was.
That was pretty funny. I like that.
Well, other iTunes reviewers this week come from My Own World 3, Frito 2014, and Tony Shadman. So thank you, guys.
Is that Shadman or Shadman?
Probably Shadman.
Okay.
All right. And
just want to make sure everyone gets their correct pronunciation.
Yes. But we don't know because they weren't here to tell us. They weren't here to tell us these things. Well, I'd like to move on to Stitcher review shoutouts. We have Sparky99, One Peter M, and Jamie Alice gave us Stitcher reviews this week. And Jamie Alice says that this show always makes me smile.
Thank you, Jamie Alice.
Yeah. Now I want to give a shout out to another podcast that gave us a shout out on their podcast. And that is the Once Upon a Time Fan Podcast by Jeff and Colleen. And if you want to follow them on Twitter, they are at OUAT Fan Podcast on Twitter. They're very nice. In fact, I asked them to record a little May the 4th be with us for this podcast episode, and they were happy to do it and sent it within like 5 minutes.
It's a very good podcast to listen to right after Once Upon a Time.
Absolutely.
It puts everything in order and perspective.
Yes.
Sometimes I get a little frazzled by who said what and who did what and who lives in what realm.
Because it can be a doozy.
I think that marks the first time the word doozy has ever been said on Skywalking Through Neverland.
Possibly.
No, I'm keeping track.
Okay. I'm glad you're keeping track of these things. All right.
Someone has to.
Well, how many times have I said shout out on the show?
29.
Well, this is the 30th one. I'm giving a shout out to Jamie Capo because she recognized us at the Disney Infinity 2.0 presentation in Hollywood last week.
That was kind of a rush.
That was the first time that had happened. Usually we're at these events, we're giving out our cards left and right. Hey, have you heard of this podcast? Here, check it out. And this time, someone came up to us, Jamie came up to us and said, are you guys from Skywalking Through Neverland? I love you guys. I follow you on Facebook. I love your show.
Let's set the scene here. We were wearing our Skywalking Through Neverland t-shirts.
Yes. So she didn't recognize us out of the blue. That would have been hard to do.
That would have been funny.
Yeah, it would have been. But that was so amazing. So thank you, Jamie.
Yeah, this was a presentation for the new Infinity Game Marvel crossover.
Yes, Disney Infinity 2.0 with the Marvel injection into it. It's very exciting.
And we hope Jamie Capo had a very nice May the 4th party that we unfortunately couldn't go to.
Yeah. But she was creating her own cantina.
And watching Star Wars.
We want to see pictures, Jamie. Now, I want to give a special shout out this week to a whole bunch of friends, old and new, whom I bugged several times this week on Facebook and Twitter to share our May the 4th Be With You contest since it was ending. So thank you so much, everyone, for putting up with me and sharing out of the goodness of your heart. And of course, if you ever need us to share anything, please let us know.
Like money?
No, like sharing events and things.
Like ride to the airport? Oh, events. Okay, gotcha.
Yes, sharing on social media.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We're always up for that.
Now, speaking of social media, specifically Twitter and Fangirls, and the amazing connections that both are capable of, I want to give a shout out to Vanessa Marshall, soon to be Hera on Star Wars Rebels. And my fangirl friends Tricia Barr and Teresa Delgado on Fangirls Going Rogue, they were able to help us get in touch with Vanessa Marshall on Twitter, and she's just so open and lovely and probably the nicest person you'll ever meet. And that's just through Twitter.
Yeah, this is Rebels' version of Ashley Eckstein.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And you can tell she's just a fangirl herself.
Oh, just like Ashley. They're both so into Star Wars.
Yeah. Now, I was really, we were trying to ask her to do an interview for this special May the 4th podcast episode. However, when it became apparent that there was no time to do an interview, then she happily agreed to record a special May the 4th greeting just for us. So she went above and beyond, never having met us before, and that just goes to show that Star Wars fans are just the most incredible people ever.
And you'll have heard her Happy May the 4th message she has sent us, which we put on the beginning of the show.
Is it time for our contest winner?
Nope, not yet. Now it's time.
Now it's time to reveal the May the 4th Be With You contest winner.
After, what's it been, 3 weeks?
Yeah, I think almost 4 weeks, actually. This is our longest contest yet.
3 grueling weeks. We finally get to give away a whole bunch of stuff.
Yes.
Courtesy of our good friend, Autumn Barnes.
With mymickeyvacation.com.
So if you're going anywhere, Disney World, Disneyland, Star Wars weekends, anywhere, she can help you.
That's right. Just go to mymickeyvacation.com.
And once again, we couldn't recommend it highly because there's just so much to do, especially at Star Wars weekends, where she knows all the ins and outs and can get you a lot of the fun swag. So thank you very much, Autumn Barnes, for donating this big prize pack.
Yes. Now, our contest winner, drum roll please, is Jess Def Jam, who left us a Stitcher review. Congrats, Jess. You have 3 days to respond and claim your fabulous Star Wars prize pack full of Star Wars Legos, Darth Tater, Star Wars bags and goodies, and, don't forget, Disney's The Pirate Fairy. So you enjoy that movie. I think that's so great.
And by 3 days, that means you have until May the 8th.
Okay.
May the 8th to respond.
May the 8th. And you can respond by sending an email to share@skywalkingthroughneverland.com or contact us on Facebook as well. Message us at Skywalking Through Neverland.
And of course, we're going to send out emails to you and post it on your Facebook because we really want you to have this since you did win it fair and square. And for some reason you don't respond to us within that 3 days, well then the prize goes to the second place winner. Hold on, let me pull it up. Richard Wolosky. That's me!
That's you!
So if Jess does not claim his prize, I get the prize?
No.
Best contest ever. No, I entered the contest.
No.
I entered the contest fair and square.
Hey, if Bald Solo thinks he's not eligible for the contest, then you're not eligible.
I don't see where you're going with that.
Well, hopefully...
It doesn't say that we're not eligible. I want those prize packs. I want the Pirate Fairy movie.
Well, Jess Def Jam, please contact us or else Richard gets all the swag.
Hello, everyone, in Skywalking Through Neverland Land. This is Jeff Roney and
Colleen Roney
and our dog Lady from the Once Upon a Time fan podcast at onceuponatimepodcast.com. And we want you all to know.
She really wants you to know.
By
By the way, she speaks Wookiee.
She does speak Wookiee.
So she wants you to know.
Please have a fantastic Star Wars day. And we want to wish you, may the 4th be with you. We really love Skywalking Through Neverland. Such a great, cool couple. They're doing some really cool things, and Lady agrees.
Absolutely.
Keeping us up on Disney and Star Wars news. It is going to be a huge, huge year for Star Wars and Disney.
Yes.
So again, may the 4th be with you. Keep up the great work, guys. Even Lady agrees, and we'll talk soon. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Anakin, may the Force be with you. May the Force be with you, Master.
So we want to thank today's guests, Robert Bapst of the Bald Solo podcast. Robert, can you tell us about your upcoming show and where we can find you?
Yes. This month is the 1-year anniversary of my podcast, so
woohoo!
Yeah. So I am having some people podcast with me all month that were there 1 year ago. Kevin Reitzel is going to be on the show, and he was from Decipher. He was one of the guys that worked on the original Star Wars card game.
Oh wow!
Yeah, the trading card game. So he's really great. Jason Rutledge is also going to be on.
Nice.
And so I wanted to get his reaction to the cast of Episode 7 as well, and he's doing some really cool cosplay stuff. So yeah, so I basically am just going to be having on guests that I had on last year and kind of checking with them, and it's going to culminate with Padawan Sydney and Avery, who were two little girls that were on my podcast.
That was a great show. That was a
You
really
remember that
fun
one?
show.
Yeah, they're going to be back on this month.
Oh.
Yeah, to check in with them because they were super excited, and they were super excited about Clone Wars, and I'm sure about Rebels since it's going to be on Disney XD. I know they watch Disney Channel, so yeah.
Nice.
So their parents have agreed to let them come back on the podcast over Skype, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Awesome. And then where can we find your podcast?
You can go to baldsolopodcast.com. I am also on Stitcher. You can search for the Bald Solo Podcast on Stitcher, on iTunes. And I also have a Facebook page. So you can just search for Bald Solo Podcast on Facebook. I'm also on Twitter at Bald Solo. So, yeah.
Well, we're not just saying this because you're on our show right now, but you are one of our go-to podcasts of the week.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You
Yeah.
guys as well.
You got a really fun show, very loose form, and it just you are really, really inviting.
Oh, thank you. Yes. I this is it has been an awesome ride for the past year, and I've made amazing friends, including you two. So thank you.
Well,
Yay.
likewise.
And I always feel privileged and honored to be on your show. So thank you for that.
Oh.
Well, thank you. And we also want to thank Chris Alexander, Michael Kogge, Tricia Barr, Scott Murray, and Donald Wicks. So join us next week for some more surprises. Do you want to know what those surprises are, Robert?
Absolutely.
Can't tell you. Got to tune in next week.
Oh.
Asterisk can't tell you.
That would ruin half the fun.
Absolutely.
So join us then, and until then, please write us in at share@skywalkingthrough-neverland.com. Tell us your May the 4th or Revenge of the 5th stories.
Yeah, we want to hear what you did for the May the 4th, Revenge of the 5th days. And also, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/skywalkingthroughneverland, where we're almost to 1,500 likes as of today.
Congratulations, guys.
Thanks. That's very exciting.
Also, people can leave you a voice message on your website too, right?
Yes. I just learned how to install a SpeakPipe little app. So right next to the amount of likes and the photos tab on our Facebook page, there's a SpeakPipe tab that says leave a voicemail. And there you can leave a voicemail. Just say hi, tell us whether you like the show or not. You can also leave a voicemail wishing Margaret Carey, the Tinkerbell animation model, a happy birthday.
Yeah, for our upcoming Mother's Day episode, we're going to air the first of our new segment, Ask Tink.
Yes.
Where she is going to be our fairy godmother for Skywalking Through Neverland.
So you can also leave a voicemail asking Tinkerbell and or Margaret Carey your questions. You can either ask about her life or you can ask some fun advice for yourself.
Yeah, like which wings go with which outfit. Anything you like, she's here for you.
Yes.
I want to know what lightsaber color she would have.
Oh, well, see, there you go.
There you go. Go ahead and ask her.
Click on that SpeakPipe app on our Facebook page.
And also, this is the last week to send in your birthday wishes to Miss Carey, because next Saturday, she's going to turn the big 8-5.
Wow.
And we're going to present her with all these voice messages that you have been leaving. And thank you once again for leaving all these voicemails and all your email messages.
That's incredible. Yeah, go out there and leave messages, guys.
Yeah, so Robert, if you haven't done it, put that on your to-do list right ahead of getting tickets for Star Wars Celebration Anaheim.
Yeah, I'll have Chewie do that for me.
Oh, that'll be fun. Wonder what she'll think of that. Now, you can also find us on Twitter at SkywalkingPod. And we have some fun conversations on Twitter, too. I love Twitter. It's a good way to get in touch with people, including Vanessa Marshall.
Yeah.
The voice of... The voice of Hera.
Syndulla.
Yes. Yeah, we've had whole conversations on Twitter. It's so cool.
The two of them are now BFFs.
Yeah. That's us. Okay. Well, everyone, we want to wish you a happy May the 4th and Revenge of the 5th. And remember, Neverland on Alderaan.
Chewie, get us out of here.
There you go. Yay! I'm happy because I'm doing this.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to Skywalking Through Neverland. All materials submitted become the property of Skywalking Through Neverland and are subject for use on our show. You can help support Skywalking Through Neverland by posting about us on Facebook, Twitter, or just telling another fanboy or girl. We would also really, really appreciate a 5-star review on iTunes. A link to our iTunes page can be found on skywalkingthroughneverland.com. This podcast was created and produced by Richard and Sarah Woloski. Segment producers are David Scale, Richard Woloski, and Sarah Woloski. Graphic design and website design by Sarah Woloski. Creative consultant, Mark Agushwitz. Technical advisor, Peter Heitman. Skywalking Through Neverland is not affiliated at all with Lucasfilm Limited, Disneyland Resorts, or the Walt Disney Company. All names, sounds, and related items of Star Wars and Disney are registered, trademarked, and copyright Lucasfilm Limited and the Walt Disney Company and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All rights reserved. Skywalking Through Neverland is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Hopefully, we have entertained you. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Hey Hey Entertainment, copyright 2014. All rights reserved. No part of this show may be repurposed, reproduced, redistributed, or rebroadcasted without the written permission of Hey Hey Entertainment.
Sorry, all that had to be said.
And remember, write that iTunes review.
Goodbye. Live long and prosper. Wait, sorry. May the Force be with you.
And cut. That's a wrap.